means what depending on the number of occupants, if those many number are dying in a car, for example, if you take 100 cars, and out of 100 car which met with an accident, you might have 10 fatality. So you have to also take the number of occupants with the number of deaths. Now morbidity is the first we dealt about with the deaths. Now morbidity is with the problems, residual problems with which people have to deal with. So these can be serious injuries, these can be slight injuries. So seriousness of the injury is assessed by one abbreviated injury scale. This is a international comparison. We have abbreviated injury scale by which we evaluate what is the extent of the injury, then the kind of disability which has been left, a person has been left with. So a disability can be a temporary disability, for example a fracture. So that fracture heals well, in 6 weeks time the cast comes off and this person has come back nearly to normal, or
నుంచి నా మెయిన్ పోతుంది వస్తుంది.
आ गया.
జెరోసా కనుకో.
So out of which around 57% are males and 43% are female. This is in the developed region, these statistics. And unintentional are 3.5 million and intentional are 1.6 million. So Southeast Asia region, that accounts for 1/4 of the injuries globally. And actually somewhere India leads the pack among Southeast Asia also. India has got the highest accident rate. Road traffic injuries in 2000 primary cause of death is road traffic injuries. They are cause for primary and third leading cause for death in 15 to 29-year-old, and among children it is the primary cause of death in road traffic injuries, accidents. So why is India leading our this thing in accidents? I mean, the mortality and morbidity, why is it leading? First of all, there is mechanization in industries and agriculture and industry. We are using more of machines now, and we have a lot of semi-skilled or unskilled workers, those who have not been properly trained, and they are using these machines. And we have got like increased vehicular traffic now with the loan system and everything being so available and easy. So everybody whosoever can pay an EMI is buying a vehicle. And another thing is that concept of pooling of car or pooling of the vehicles, and so that it's not a matter of prestige that you have to show off your vehicle and you're the only one traveling. So that is a problem with us Indians. We have that, we have to show off. So from a single apartment, if in the same direction there are 10 people going, but all 10 people will go on their own 10 vehicles. That's the problem. Then there is overcrowding, lack of awareness, and poor implementation of essential safety precautions. Out of these 100 people who are getting out of going from point A to point B, only 5% will be wearing the seat belt, and that too after it has been mandatory and after challan has been made for this, then only you find people wearing. Otherwise, nobody wears. Similarly, for helmets also, there's hardly any awareness, and actually not only awareness, even if after being told 110 times, poor implementation. So the types of accidents, mostly we see the types of accidents. This is the classification of accidents. We have road traffic accidents, we have domestic accidents, we have industrial accidents, railway accidents, and violence. So you see, road traffic accidents are total deaths are 3551. That is 6.2% of all causes of death will be there. Unintentional road traffic accidents. Then poisonings also. Poisonings will be around 350. That is 0.6. Falls, fires, drowning, other injuries, these are also there. So, and these are unintentional. Intentional are self-inflicted. Self-inflicted, for example, suicidal attempts or violence. If somebody on purpose goes and attacks somebody, war is also an intentional accident. So these are the things what you find is road traffic accident, unintentional, that has got the highest, that has got 6.2% of all causes of death. Now, reported accidents in India by main causes, we have natural disasters, then unnatural causes. In natural disasters, one can't do anything about. For example, now any volcano eruption, we don't have volcano eruption, but then we have these flooding, and recently we had Amphan, that is a cyclone. So these are called natural disasters. Unnatural are traffic accidents, road traffic, railroad, other railway accidents, then drowning, then fire, poisoning, and house building and all when they collapse, especially after a month of continuous rains or heavy downpour. You find that so many houses, they have collapsed and so many people underneath have died, those who were inside. Now, false firearms, factory of accidents in factories, and also killed by animals, they also come under accidents. Now, road traffic accidents, as you see, motor vehicle accidents are the first among the accidents. So in global death rate is around 19 per 1 lakh population. Males are more affected than females, and age group is the productive age group. People are more affected. That is 15 to 44 years old when they're productive, most productive economically and work-wise. That those people are mostly affected, and more than 50% of death of children below 15 years of age is again road traffic accidents are responsible. Now in developing countries we have a lot of two-wheelers. You see, especially when you go towards the rural and semi-rural areas, you find only two-wheelers. On one two-wheeler, seeing 3 to 4 people sitting on it is not a very unusual sight. That's quite often we see. Now these two-wheelers, they are very unstable. They have hardly any protection. Means they are exposed from all sides. Little bit of imbalance, one falls and one can have a fatal injury. And in developed countries, the profile is different because they have more of four-wheelers, because they have long distance traveling, and also the roads are but the problem is they have four-wheelers and very fast lanes. So when they are traveling, they travel at 100 or 120. That is quite normal. I mean, below that is abnormal. That is quite normal. So at such a high speed, when anything one loses control or one meets an accident, it's most of the times near fatal. Then the difference between developing and industrialized countries, the main thing is again pedestrians and animals. We have a lot of people walking on the road, and animals also, everything, they all are on the road. Then we have very badly maintained vehicles, old poorly maintained vehicles. So you see all these tippers and all which will be there on the roads. They are hardly, plenty of times in fact the brakes don't work also. They will be just one speed and they'll be going like that. Then motorcycles, scooters and mopeds, that is two-wheelers, are a lot. You see, you at any red light, you find like for 10 cars there will be at least 20 to 25 two-wheelers from every direction. Then driving standards are pretty low. People will try and find any 1 inch and try and squeeze there. You've seen the state of buses also, they are overloaded. And traffic rules are not followed unless somebody is strictly imposing. The moment the traffic havaldar is not there and the cameras are not there, immediately people forget all traffic rules. And the roads also, the kind we have, hardly we have any good street lighting. Layouts are also of at the crossroads, we don't have the speed breakers, or the speed breakers are very less. Now plenty of times the trees, they grow and they grow around the light, so that light becomes quite ineffective. Then unusual behavior of men and animals, they tend to walk on the center of the road. What happens is, with more number of accidents, with there is loss of gross domestic product, that is GDP, to the country. In domestic accidents, what do we say? They are the ones which are in home and immediate surroundings. So these are basically domestic accidents, are not connected with traffic, vehicle or sports. They are most frequent causes. What we have is drowning, burns, poisoning, falls, injuries from sharp objects and instruments, bites, and other injuries from animals, those who have pets and all. Now drowning, what you see is drowning can be in a very little water also. It can be, Sridevi died by drowning in a bathtub. So you need not be in a large water body, and for a small baby, even a tub of water, little bit water is also enough to, because they don't know how to protect themselves or how to climb out of that place and all, wherever they have fallen. So it is not the quantity of water, it is the risk factors which are there with the age, with the health status of that person who has fallen into the water, which causes a drowning. Now the some places where it is surrounded by ocean and their water sports and all are quite popular, those places will have higher drowning rates. And most of them are ponds, rivers, oceans, or during floods and cyclones. Very few actually take place in swimming pool, because most of the time swimming pool, the safety measures are taken and there will be a lifeguard. But where it is unsupervised, that is the place where they have more. And also parties after which drinks and all are taken. After that, when a person falls in a pool, what happens is a person loses sense of direction and thinks is going to the surface, whereas while swimming down. So this happens quite often. That is why drunk people, they get drowned very often once they fall in water. So what happens after drowning is there is loss of consciousness, and till 2 minutes, if a person can be taken out and water can be pumped out of the stomach and CPR taken, then the person becomes normal. But irreversible brain damage occurs from after 4 to 6 minutes. So if for 4 to 6 minutes, if brain does not get oxygen supply, there is irreversible damage. Burns are hot liquid which fall onto the surface. So when you can see or flames, one gets affected. Plenty of times you find small children, they get affected, they get burnt by hot liquid, and it is because of the ignorance and or carelessness of by the mother, that or whoever is cooking leaves the doorbell has rung or the phone is ringing, they'll take off the hot water or tea or something and leave the pan nearby, and you can see the kid is trying to reach it. Then electrical this thing also, like recently I saw one the 2 days back, one this thing was there, one fellow, his wet jeans fell on a wire, transformer wire. He went to pick it up and he used a rod or whatever it is, he got electrocuted. A young fellow, I think working in IT sector or an engineer or something like that. So the electricity at the spur of the moment, one doesn't think that this could be fatal to me. And children, what happens is these sockets and all are there, and they're very curious by nature. They'll go around and put their fingers inside. So for that also, first of all, the parents have to be very careful in the sense, when a small baby starts crawling around, that time the points which are there down, accessible points, they have to be either totally taped up or the holes should be filled up with chalk or something like that, so the child cannot put the finger inside. Then fireworks and Diwali and all, we see a lot of firework burns, which happens quite often. In India, there have been about 19,000, around 20,000 deaths in 2003 because of domestic accidents, majority at home. So most of the times, domestic accidents will be open fires, pressure stores bursting, inflammable materials in the house, and also gas cylinders bursting. That is also a very common thing which happens in the domestic. Now, poisoning is you can see small children again who can go and reach out things. They are the ones who will be curious. They will, whatever they find, they will open and try and put it in the mouth. So this is a dangerous situation which happens very often. So these small children most of the times are affected. And second is, of course, people are intentionally trying to swallow. The most common agents are pesticides, then kerosene, prescription drugs, and household chemicals. And the most common availability is pesticides, which will be there, cockroaches, rats, or something or the other will be there in the household, and people will keep. Even simple thing like all out, when that bottle is down there, a small child might crawl and find it very interesting and puts it in the mouth. So most of the times, every household will have these mats and coils and all outs, chemicals and all. So one has to be careful when keeping these things in the house. Organous phosphorus poisoning, insecticides, organophosphorus insecticides, 20 to 30% of the poisoning cases are there. False also account, especially people who are little unstable on their feet, and or the people, workers who are doing those kind of, they have built up a scaffolding and climbed up and trying to do something. A lot of times they fall from there. So largest number of hospital visits for non-fatal are among children and young adults. They fall from rooftops, balconies, windows, and staircases. It's very common that children, when the, especially when the balconies are low, they tend to play and fall over it. And also from trees while picking fruits. And of course, kite flying is a very, very that season we find a lot of children falling down. Now, sharp pointed instruments, especially now during the lockdown period, a lot of pencil injuries have been seen. Now, bites and other injuries from animals, once you venture out, even in the households also, scorpions and snakes, sometimes semi-rural areas, they come and this thing. Industrial accidents, recently there was this styrene chemical industry that gas leak was there, and so many people died out there. Even one medico also, I think, died there. Now, in agricultural injuries, most of the times we have 1% of deaths and 10%. And that is because of physical, the mechanized instruments and tractors and all that, and pesticides and fertilizers and biological, animal and related this thing. These are agricultural injuries which are there. Then we have, due to rapid industrialization and manure, a lot of people working with machines and all, and they are not properly trained. That is, they are semi-skilled, not properly skilled. So man-machine interaction is a very, very major cause for accidents in factories. Now, railway accidents, again, you see when it happens, there are a lot of mortalities and morbidities because of the only factor that a lot of humans will be traveling, a lot of people will be there. So now, violence is also, there is again, agent is motivated person who injures, and host is a suitable target who is targeted, and environment is absence of guardians, absence of policing and all those things, they result in violence. And risk factor is as a means to solve problems, availability of lethal weapons. Both the things are contributory. That is especially when policing is not very strong, then again consumption of alcohol, along with alcohol, some a petty issue again becomes into a major issue and results in plenty of times we find that there are people, this one among friends, they have consumed liquor, and after that this one had an argument with that one and they killed over a very very small and insignificant issue. They kill each other. Then communal violence, wars and political unrest, organized and unorganized, ethnic and communal violence. These are also, they are actually, but they are intentional accidents. They are not unintentional. There are intentional accidents. Then suicides also are actually, they come under intentional accidents because they are knowingly doing it. Then communal violence, ethnic violence, these are all knowingly being done. War is knowingly being done. So these are all intentional accidents. Now we will come to this, what are the human factors, what are the environmental factors. So human factors are age, sex, education, medical conditions, agent, host, environment, these all interact together. So there is a multiple causation theory out here also. So we have human factors like age, sex, education, medical condition, fatigue, psychological factors, lack of body protection. Environmental factors are relating to the road, relating to the vehicle, the weather, then mixed traffic, slow and fast moving vehicle, pedestrians and animals. So a combination of environmental factors, human factors leads to increased vulnerability or risk situation, which results in accidents. Now, what are the precipitating factors? They are the increased emotion, tension, taking of alcohol, taking of drugs. In human factors, these are the precipitating conditions. And in the environmental factors, the precipitating conditions are the social pressures, stolen vehicle. These are some things which are the precipitating factors in both the things. Now you can see all these factors are they result in accident. So how do you prevent? You do data collection, safety education, promotion of safety measures, and ban alcohol and drugs. Now, alcohol has become a very, very important of traffic policies. They are checking, especially around New Year's and all, when a lot of people will do drinking and driving. So that has a very, very important deterrent. That is policing. Then primary care should be there. Elimination of causative factors. You see, the agent and the environment, both the things, what are the positive factors, they should be removed. Enforcement of laws should be done. Rehabilitation services should be available. Accident research should be there. So these are the 9. When you have accident prevention, this comes plenty of times. Accident comes as a long question together, or it can be like a prevention of accidents can be a short note. So whatever it is in prevention, you have to write all these 9 points. So in data collection, it is the basic reporting system because you have to do special service on in-depth services. Detailed environmental data has to be taken, and it is important for effective countermeasures where you have to evaluate and then make planned strategies. So how do you do? Only after you've got the data, then only you can do. Then safety education should start from the schools, and drivers also should be, retrained again and again, brought back, and before they are reissued their license, they should be retrained about safe driving and proper vehicle maintenance. Young people who are at risk for traffic rules and this thing, they should be again trained in safety and also in giving first aid. Then children should be told to be stay away from water when the supervision is not there. And public education awareness should be there that drowning can happen. So happen quickly and quietly. So these things, the main thing is awareness of everybody around, and secondly, everybody should be trained in giving CPR. That is very, very important. And also first aid, how it should be given. So if accident is a disease, then education is its vaccine. Safety measures, road traffic accident, what are the safety measures which should be there? There should be seat belt, safety helmets, Then for children, there should be special these safety belts should be put, leather clothing and boots should be there, and also airbags should be mandatory in all vehicles. The airbags are responsible for a lot of people living to tell their stories. Then drowning contributory factor are falling unexpectedly into water, easy authorized or access to pools, not able to swim, alcohol consumption, excessive horseplay or over hyper behavior, swimming outside the depth. If a child should be allowed to swim only into the child's this thing which is 4 feet, they should not be allowed into the adult side. Then breath holding and swimming and diving, these are some bravado activities which people do, and they are contributing factors for drowning. Then a high drain outlet and poor drain cover design, all those things, when people fall in manholes, especially during heavy downpour, what happens, these manholes can't be seen and people fall into it inadvertently and they drown. So that is one of the things which can be there. And how can it be prevented? Isolated fences should be put up for isolation, and locked steps above ground pools, the steps should be locked, and locked doors for indoor pools. Continuous parental supervision is very, very important, and properly trained and equipped lifeguard should be there. Just a fellow standing around is not enough, should be having the equipments also, this thing. And restriction of alcohol, people who have consumed alcohol should not be allowed to go into the pools, and especially poolside parties and all are very, very dangerous, because a lot of times after which goes into well into the night and early morning, that is the time when accident. Then emergency shut-off or pump should be accessible, and grills and pipes should be there. And it should be important that everybody should wear bathing caps when they go in, because these drain pipes and all, because of hair getting trapped in there, so they get stuck, they get blocked. Then temperature should be maintained. There should be temperature maintenance availability also, and emergency services. For fire, again, it is prevention is better than cure. Everybody should know what causes fire. Just simply lighting of this thing and throwing it off anywhere is again not good. Then especially after cooking and all, the gas should be always turned off before leaving the room, before leaving the kitchen. That is very, very important. And electric fires also, they set in when these days, there is a auto cut off. Whenever any sparking or anything takes place in the house, immediately the whole house, the electricity will be shut down, and that is those MCBs which are there, auto off. So that is very, very important to install in every household for a prevention of electric fires. So PASS is pull, aim, squeeze and sweep. This is PASS is how to use a fire extinguisher. This also everybody should be trained. We have got a fire extinguisher put in our department, which we really don't know how to use it, because we are scared of taking it off and this thing. But everybody should know how to use a fire extinguisher also. Now, for poisoning, you should have to store medicines, chemicals, household products, and all out of reach and out of sight of children, at least 1.5 meter above, in a locked child resident. And others people's medicine should not be taken, and separate the medicines from household products. They should be kept separately, and medicines and chemicals, they should be labeled and kept in the original container, so the whatever it is saying inside, it is the same thing which is there. And regularly the expired date medicines and all should be regularly thrown out of the house. And children tend to mimic adults, so if you open a bottle and tend to take medicines, they find it very fascinating and they also want to do. So the moment they find anything lying around, they put it in their mouth and mimic adults. So this is how it takes place. Then industrial accidents, so that is again an industrial safety issue which should be looked into. Violence is something which is again, under the influence of alcohol and under the influence of drugs and all that. Even a minor thing becomes a very, very major thing which leads to violence. Primary care begins at the accident site, continues during transportation, and concludes in the hospital emergency room. This is very, very important, because just at the accident site, you tie something and put something and then leave the person. By the time the person reaches the emergency room, most of the times they die off. So whatever is the primary care which is being given at the accident site, that person should stay with that person until a hospital emergency room where emergency care is being given. So accident site services organization is there, and hospitals with full trauma care facilities, they should be there in primary. Now, elimination of co-causative factors, again, it is the agent, it is the environment. So what in the environment you can do is improvement of road, speed limit should be made, marking of danger points, electric voltage reduction should be there, fire guards, Then safety equipments and accidents in industries, safe storage and drugs and poisons and all those things, weapons should be there. It is in the West, that is USA and all, it's very common to keep a gun because there are no this thing gun one can go and buy in a shop just like that. And plenty of times I've been seeing small children when they're playing around, they open the drawer, a fully loaded gun without the safety clip being on. Plenty of times the parents forget it. There are so many times such tragedies have happened. A child has playingly killed the sibling or killed himself or herself or somebody. So this is a very, very sad thing which happens. Then enforcement of law obviously is one thing which has seen a lot of improvement in Hyderabad as of now. Driving tests should be taken, speed limits should be say put everywhere, medical fitness has to be there, make sure that seat belts and crash helmets are put on. Then blood alcohol concentration checking is there, roadside breath test, alcohol is done, and regular inspection of vehicles, periodic re-examination of drivers over the age of 55 years, they should be done. And factory and industrial laws have to be strictly followed. Then what are the rehabilitation services? We have medical and social and occupational. These are the rehabilitation which should be done. It is very, very important, rehabilitation after an injury has happened because of the morbidity and all. If they are not rehabilitated, they are not able to fully come back to functional reuptake their normal life. That is the accident research is again something which is very, very important for prevention. So accident research is for the type and the extent of what are the characteristics of the accident, environment in which it happens, it occurs more often, and what is the kind of human behavior which has resulted in these kind of accidents. These are some research which is very, very important, how to make environment safe and how to improve the control measures, what are the things which should be done. So what is the accident research and what is the science involved in it? It is called accidentology. This is this thing. Now we come to oral diseases. Now oral diseases have recently been included in non-communicable diseases because again they are oral diseases which are very, very common. There is again a web of causation and they are preventable, and plenty of times they are non-infective pathology out here. So the most common, they are the most common non-communicable disease which affect the people throughout their lifetime, causes pain, discomfort, and even death. So this has been included with the recent addition. So what do you see? Oral key is a health indicator, overall health indicator. We have in oral health, we have a full dental this thing only. Full course is there and all, but still doctors also should be aware, because when a person comes to you, the oral health is equally important, and basics even you have to know. So oral health is a state of being free from chronic mouth and facial pain, oral and throat cancer, oral infection and sores, periodontal gum diseases, tooth decay, tooth loss, and other diseases and disorders that limit an individual's capacity in biting, chewing, smiling, speaking, and psychosocial well-being. This is a WHO definition. So in the world, there are 7 oral diseases and conditions which account for the most of the oral disease burden. They are dental caries, periodontal gum diseases, oral cancers, oral manifestation of HIV, orodental trauma, cleft lip palate, and NOMA. Quickly, I will tell you fast little bit about it. Oral caries, dental caries, you all know, sorry, it's not oral caries, it's dental caries. So dental caries or tooth decay, periodontal disease, and oral cancer, these are the common things which are affecting Indians. According to Ministry of Health and Welfare, dental caries is around 60% of the population is affected, and periodontal disease about 85% of the population is affected. So, and the country is considered the world capital for oral cancer. Very, very sad. Risk factors are most oral diseases and conditions share modifiable risk factors such as tobacco use, alcohol consumption, and unhealthy diets high in free sugar. These are all common to 4 leading non-communicable diseases. So tobacco use, alcohol consumption, unhealthy diet, which is rich in free sugars. So that is those risk factors. Again, diabetes mellitus is linked in as a reciprocal way with the development and progression of periodontitis. There is a causal link between high sugars consumption and diabetes, obesity, and dental caries. Oral health inequalities, these are caused by a broad range of interacting biological, socio-behavioral, psychological, societal, and political factors that create the conditions in which people are born, grow, live, work, and age, the so-called social determinants. So also oral diseases disproportionately they affect the poor and the socially advantaged members of the society. This is called oral health inequality because the low socioeconomic people they are affected more, and there is a strong and consistent association between socioeconomic status and prevalence and severity of oral diseases. And therefore oral health inequalities are considered as differences in oral health care that are avoidable. I mean, these inequalities, if you take them out, then oral health improves a lot. Dental caries is a result when microbial microfilm, that is plaque formed on the tooth surface, converts the free sugar contained in the food and drinks into acids that dissolve tooth enamel and dentin over a period of time. With continued high intake of free sugars, inadequate exposure to fluoride, and without regular microbial film removal. I mean, how do you remove microbial film? By brushing. So you have to regularly 3 times a day after meals. Actually, you should brush. Or earlier we used to have, our grandparents and all. They used to put water in their mouth, and so vigorously they would wash their mouth and put the finger and do to the massage and all that. All that is very very scientific actually. After eating and all, doing that kulla. Though it sounds, it's very gross why people are doing like that, but actually it is very scientific when people do that. And periodontal gum diseases are the tissues which affect surrounding and support the tooth. When they are affected, they present as bleeding or swollen gum, gingivitis, pain, and sometimes bad breath. Even bad breath, somebody is smelling very bad, tell that person you might be having periodontal disease. Okay, so though it is social etiquettes, it doesn't come in that, but still. In very severe form, what can happen? Loss of gum attachment to the tooth can happen, and the bones they start coming out because they become loose and pockets are there. So this is very very important. Then tooth loss is dental caries and periodontal disease are major causes for tooth loss, and severe tooth loss are widespread and particularly seen in older people. So this was one of the 10 leading causes of years living with disability. 10 causes for, because loss of tooth is something we take for granted, eating and we are chewing away and all, we don't think about it. But once the tooth problem and all they start, or gingival problem, gum problems they start, then one realizes the importance of tooth. Then oral cancers are again, India leads in oral cancers. That is also very sad, and more if men are more affected than women, and that too in older people and socioeconomically lower. Then oral manifestation of HIV is 30 to 80% of people with HIV will have, depending on the ART what they are taken, they will have oral manifestations like fungal, bacterial, or viral infection, or oral candidiasis, which is more common. And what happens is it causes pain, discomfort, dry mouth, difficulty in eating everything, and constant source of opportunistic infection. Then orodental trauma is something which is because of the injury to the teeth and other hard and soft tissue. There are orodental trauma. Noma is a very very sad thing. It is a necrotizing disease that affects children between the age of 2 to 6 years suffering from malnutrition, affected by infectious disease, living in extreme poverty with weak immune system. This is very very common in Africa. Noma. So Africa and sub-Saharan countries. Then cleft lip and cleft palate is a heterogeneous disorder that affects the lips and oral cavity, which can occur as part of syndrome. 70% of the times it happens as a part of syndrome, or it affects more than 1 in 1,000 newborn worldwide. So noma is something which I told you, it starts as a soft tissue lesion, a sore of the gums inside the mouth, and that develops into an ulcerative necrotizing gingivitis that progresses rapidly, destroying the soft tissue and further progressing to involve the hard tissue and skin of the face. These are prevention of oral diseases. Prevention can be done by promoting a well-balanced diet, low in free sugars, all those risk factors which are there, they have to be removed. Well-balanced diet, free sugars, a lot of sugary things which leave behind the free sugars, and which result in biofilm formation on the teeth, and thus which corrode away the dentin and the enamel. Those things have to be prevented. Then adequate fruit and vegetable intake, which may have a protective role in oral cancer prevention. Reducing smoking, use of smokeless tobacco. Then chewing of areca nuts and alcohol consumption should be stopped. Encouraging the use of protective equipment in sport and while traveling in motor vehicles to reduce the risk of facial injuries. So this was about the prevention of oral diseases. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our
అయిపోయిందా కావాలి